A lot of people have a lot of questions, right? So
Dude,
did it? You
yeah.
did it.
Well, I'm hitting record because we just
I
started
saw
talking
that. I
about
saw
some nitty gritty stuff. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, so it's crazy
it's
out there.
it's crazy because what some of the things I was reading is like, I'm trying to like see the pros and cons, right? Because that's kind of what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to kind of be able to sit back and be like, what's this mean for my people, right? And how do I then phrase it for them so that they can grasp onto it and not just be either A, gun ho, let's do it, or B, skeptic. Like how do I find the common, ground for it? So I
Well,
can
and
see,
YouTube,
yeah,
everybody's
YouTube.
learning from YouTube.
Oh, YouTube University is still the thing. Like I don't care. TikTok is, people may say TikTok is PhD. No, YouTube University is still where it's at, like hands down.
I mean,
Um,
I've learned how to fix things myself on YouTube, I
I
mean,
love that.
that's
Yeah,
where you go.
and that's the
So,
thing. So I was hearing like some of the people saying, and you tell me your thoughts on this, where the positives of the 50-year mortgage. Okay, you can refinance it, right?
mhm,
Um, of course, you sell it right before that 50 year is up, right?
mhm.
Then you look at the other side as that, well, how much equity did you build up at that point, right? So what are you feeling? What's the lender Lindsay brain say when it comes to
I
this 50-year mortgage?
I mean, if it gets somebody motivated to buy, then, I'm all for it because home
Yeah.
ownership is still the best thing for everyone. Every
Yeah.
American needs to own a
Generational
home.
wealth. Yeah. All the
Yes.
things. Yeah.
And it's not just the equity, it's the appreciation. So
Yeah.
you're building equity by paying the loan down, but you're appreciating because of house prices appreciating.
Right.
Um, but the problem is that if you take a 50-year mortgage, all mortgages are front loaded with interest.
Interest. Yeah.
So you're really not making a dent in the principal at all on a
Right.
50-year for a couple more years than a 30.
Right.
So my thought is, and I don't know who in the world invented mortgage interest and why is it upfront? Why?
Right.
Why are we having to pay 99% interest, 1% principal? And then it just gets
Yeah.
built?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if we're going to put people in a 50-year mortgage and the average homeowner moves every 8 to 10 years, you're not even going to make much of a dent in that thing
Nothing.
because you're
Yeah.
1/5 of the way through versus 1/3 of the way through if you're on a 30-year.
Yeah.
That's my only drawback. Now, somebody who's young who wants to own multiple investment homes,
Right.
someone who's buying and helping to rent Section 8, or, those people, they want to keep their costs low. So
Right.
a 50-year might make sense.
Mm-hmm.
But I just don't feel like it's a good enough fix. I
Yeah.
think I think that if, capital gains, I just did a video last night on there's 10% of homeowners sitting on over $500,000 in equity. And
But they're
yeah,
afraid.
they're
Yeah.
afraid because if they sell, they're
Was
going
it
to pay capital gains.
25%?
I mean, 25% is I think that's the um, common factor,
Right.
but it really depends on how much money you made.
Wow.
Um, so you are exempt from 250 for an individual and 500
Yeah.
for a couple if you've lived there 2 out of the last 5 years.
Right.
However, if people have lived in their home for 20 years now and they saw the appreciation rates from 2020 to
Right.
now,
Right. Right.
I mean,
Right.
those people could be sitting on $1 million and
Yeah.
they don't want to sell because they're not going to buy $1 million home. They
Right.
want to buy a $500,000 home, but that other 500,000 they're going to walk away with is going to be taxed.
Yes.
So if they could raise the capital gains limit or eliminate
Yeah.
it,
Yeah. I
I
like
think
the eliminated part. Yeah. I'm definitely for that. Like I do feel like, as a country, we tax the hell out of our citizens, out of like we as a country, we're like every
taxed to
time we
death.
turn around, like it's taxed to death. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
So
and even after death, you're taxed. That's
after
a
that,
death tax.
right. Oh,
Uh,
so sorry. Condolences. Pay this bill, right?
Pay the tax. Pay the tax. And
Yeah.
people would talk about ways to avoid it, but I honestly believe, and this would help low income people as well as the people who should be probably paying more taxes, is
Yeah.
put a consumption tax on everything that is not necessities. But
Yes.
if it's not, if it's food, toothpaste,
Right.
underwear, those things don't get taxed. But if you are going to go out and buy a vase, if you go out and buy a coffee cup, or you go out and buy a
Yeah.
car, pay a
Yeah.
20% tax and don't tax the homeowners.
Right. Right.
Eliminate property taxes. If Florida eliminates property taxes, Georgia's in trouble because people are going to leave here in
Right.
droves and go down there where there's no property tax.
Right.
So Georgia better get with it because we already got Tennessee, Alabama,
And I
and
say,
Florida
yeah,
that don't have state
Tennessee,
income.
which we lost a lot of people moving from here to Tennessee because
Yeah.
of that property tax. Like I had clients that were like, "Yeah, we're between Tennessee and Georgia. Up Tennessee, no property tax, like no brainer,
They
right?
well, they have property tax, but it's so
The
cheap.
state
The
tax or
state
something.
tax,
Yeah,
state
yeah,
income
yeah,
tax.
yeah.
There's no state income tax there. And I mean,
Right.
let's not even talk about the fact that Alabama property taxes are just so low. I mean, I have people who live in West Georgia that will live in Alabama, drive to Georgia every day just so they can pay property taxes of pennies on the dollar of what you would
Yes,
pay in Georgia.
yes, yes. Yeah,
Um,
there definitely needs to be some fixing,
yeah,
for sure. And I think like I said, I think the 50-year mortgage is a okay approach to your point, like to the younger, folks that, want to own a home. I definitely think it also opens the opportunity. It was like, okay, the payment's so low. Guess what? This month I can double up, right?
yeah,
'Cause like you were saying before, like you make that one extra payment a year. What does it knock off like five,
eight
6 years,
years.
eight
Yeah.
years off your mortgage? So, if you approach it in that respect where it's like, hey, yeah, I know your mortgage is super low monthly, but double up on it if you can, right? Because maybe, just maybe, then in that point, now you're building that equity. Now you're paying something on that principal, because you're basically putting it in your own savings account if you kind of approach it that way, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Well, and that's how I tell people to do, but a lot of people are not disciplined to do
right,
that. And
right,
so that's where I feel like, I mean, and I've got to pull out a 50-year amortization schedule and see, like, on an average, 8 years in on a 50-year mortgage, how much principal would you have paid?
right,
Because 8 years in on a 30-year, you're really just starting to get into that real chunk of principal.
exactly.
Um,
So there's 40-year loans, right? How often are you writing up?
They don't, yeah.
Yep, yep,
Those, and I really thought that they would come out with a 40-year first because
yeah.
40-year mortgages are only available when you modify. So,
Oh,
yeah, we
hmm.
don't have a 40-year mortgage on our rate sheets. I mean, maybe
Yes,
there's a non-QM lender, like non-conforming, that does those 40 years. But when COVID happened, there were a lot of people taking the CARES Act forbearance and everything like that. Well,
yes.
when they came out, they started talking about, well, they modified my note and put me in a 40-year. And so then there was a big headline that said 40-year mortgages are coming, and it wasn't true because honestly, it wasn't
Okay.
something that we could offer on the
Right,
sales side. It's
right.
just a modification, and they're extending it
Back
to
end. Yeah.
480 months,
Wow.
which is 40 years. And that's,
Like, to your point, that would make more sense if they actually introduced that first, since they already had something in play in the background,
yeah, yeah.
Wow.
I mean, I thought that they would come out with a 40-year first. And then, I mean, China has 100-year mortgages. They live multi-generational. They
Yes.
literally hand down the mortgage note to their grandkids.
Wow.
Yeah.
I
I
don't
hope
want
we don't
to,
get
I
that.
don't have, I'm like, let's not do that. That's
No,
scary.
no. Yeah.
Scary.
We really, and so many people, I really want the rates to go down because of the people who took higher rates that need to get some savings. But
Yeah.
I'm very torn on these rates going down because if they go down and we have all the buyers jump back in, we are going to be back in a bidding war
Back
in
in
the
21
spring.
and 22 market. Yeah. That I completely agree with that. And then of course you got these new constructions that's offering still all the crazy incentives for a property that
3.99 interest rates. I'm
for the
like,
first 2, 3 years, yeah, or something crazy.
yeah,
But of course they're charging you exorbitant amount for that new construction. So it's like, is this really a deal?
Oh,
um,
girl, I've got people who went new construction 2, 3 years ago and they now want to sell and they can't even afford to, they can't
yeah,
put it on the market, pay the realtor fees, pay any,
right.
seller concessions
Absolutely.
and walk away with,
They zero out either
or
they
they're upside down.
zero or they're upside down. Yep, yep. I've seen that. I've seen
And
that.
it's,
Lot of buyer's remorse from that time period. A
and
lot.
I personally would not buy a house that was built once COVID started.
No,
The
it's,
problems.
it's like the houses in 21 and 22, the RVs in 21 and 22, the vehicles, depending on the brand, 21 and 22. Because some of the brands I noticed that they were built in 2021, but they had the parts since 2020, right?
Oh
But,
yeah.
but with RVs, oh my God, hands down, no, because they were one of the first to actually run out of supplies because,
Well,
everyone was jumping on camping, right? Because we
yeah,
were locked down.
you
And
couldn't
so
go anywhere.
everyone's jumping on camping and buying RVs and tow behinds and this, that, and the other. They ran out of material first
Oh, wow.
before new construction builders. And I only know that because we bought our RV, thank God, in the beginning of 2020, but
Yeah.
it was a 2019 model, right? So
Nice.
we're good.
Yeah.
But I know people that have purchased the 21 models. You're talking leaks, windows are popping, walls are caving in. I mean, just the material itself is just bad. The AC units, which most of them all came from
Oh,
overseas, they were running out of parts from over there. So I think that same concept happened, of course, in new construction as well, where it's like you bought this house in 21 and 22, but guess what? The builder's not telling you that they ran out of supply.
yeah.
You know? I personally saw some of these new construction. They ran
Mhm.
out of green board in a lot of these homes, and
Yeah.
they were using green board around the bathrooms.
Oh,
I personally saw it firsthand, and I was like, so we're just paste like Frankenstein homes. You know what I mean? They're just kind of
yeah.
like a little bit of this over here, a little bit of that. Now put up siding. No one will know. You know what I mean?
Putting lipstick on a pig. I mean, you're basically
Completely,
dressing
completely.
it up.
So it's, and I think we were talking about this the other day too, where it's like new construction homes are not regulated enough.
Mm.
Hands down. They're
Yeah.
not regulated enough. I know Georgia is a buyer beware state, very similar to how Florida is, right?
Yeah.
They'll build on a swampland in Florida, right? So I know Georgia kind of has that same buyer beware, kind of feel as well.
Well,
But
they say that you have a
we're not
one
doing
year.
anything about it.
Yeah. Well, and they say that you have a 1 year warranty with the builder, but even the people that I know that moved in, they would like start taping things or,
Yeah.
calling the builder and they're nowhere to be found.
Yeah. Yeah. Look how many builders are have gone under in just the
Mhm.
last couple of years because of it all. So it's very interesting just seeing, some of the things that have happened to our real estate market in just the last handful of years. And, like to your point, trying to help those buyers that purchased in 21 and 22 and now they all have buyer's remorse or they're in a home that they just can't sell.
Well, and you just
Oh,
reminded me of the when you said they'll build on swampland,
hmm.
2020, I had a buyer that was making so little that it was going to bypass. She was going to get bypassed by the prices. The prices were
Yes.
just going to keep going up. So she found a condo in Sandy Springs. And of course, this was after the condo collapse in Florida. So condos are
Oh yeah, the kind of
scrutinized.
reviews
I
and
hate
everything.
I hate
Yeah,
these I hate condos. I
know.
tell
I know
people,
you
please
do.
don't do it. Don't do
Yeah,
it.
I've heard it a few times
Yeah.
from you.
So, I mean, she gets this contract on a condo, and we order the condo docs, and there's a lawsuit pending. And there's a total of 6 buildings, and it's actually off of Powers Ferry Road somewhere. And
Oh,
2 of the buildings were built on a trash heap, so they're sinking. And there's a
I mean,
lawsuit pending
wow.
against I mean there's several
Right.
residents that are
Yeah, of
suing,
course.
and she wanted to argue with me that she should be able to close because I mean this was like the only thing in her price range because
Oh,
it
oh,
wasn't her building that was sinking, it was 2 others, and I'm like, girl,
right. Right.
I know you're desperate, but
Right.
you do not want this. Do you
No,
understand when you're ready to sell this thing, you can't sell it. There's nobody who's
exactly.
going to give
You're locked
finance.
in. Yeah. 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 Wow.
You know,
That's scary right there. That's
yeah.
scary. Did she end up buying it?
Oh,
Okay,
She
good.
couldn't get the financing.
See?
And I mean, apparently, the guy who was in the HOA was the seller, and he was basically trying to minimize the whole thing. And then I went to my
Okay.
non QM lender, and I said,
Yeah.
"Hey, I know you do non warrantable condos. Here's the situation." He's like, "I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole."
Wow. I'm surprised it wasn't disclosed beforehand. Like
Uh-uh.
there was this pending lawsuit. Wow.
No,
Wow.
yeah. I mean, it's just crazy out there.
Isn't
And
that what disclosures are about though? I feel like on page 2 it says something about that, you know?
well, and I think because
Is
he
there
was
a
an
pending
investor,
litigation? Yeah.
they had no
Okay.
seller disclosure. It was as is. And because it was a
Figure
condo,
it
she
out.
was
Figure
like,
it out, buyer. Right.
yeah. Well,
Right.
because it was a condo, she's like, well, I like the inside of it, so it's fine. And I'm like, it's going to sink into a
Think.
hole of
Yeah.
abyss. I mean, like,
Yeah.
you
You
don't
don't build your house on sinking sand, nor live.
know. Or a
Yeah.
trash heap.
Or trash heap. Yeah. So that was big practice, what, 70s, 80s, going back. Like that was big practice. I know when
Hmm.
we purchased our home, we had in the front yard, we had a big sinkhole. And at first it was like, oh, let's just fill it up with leaves and debris. And then it's like, this isn't working. We have to call in dirt. Right. So we had to like bring in dirt and rocks and everything to like actually fill it in and level it all, but it was that normal practice back then. I still think they're doing it, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I
Um,
mean, now they call them retention ponds and they just throw all the
right,
trash in
right,
there.
right. That part. It's fancy now. Oh yeah, you'll be near the retention pond,
Yeah.
aka mosquito haven.
Yes, exactly. My old neighbor had at least put a little fountain in there so it kept the water running.
Dude, yeah, that's
Yeah,
smart.
it
That's the way,
is.
honestly, those are the ways. If you think about it, like, why isn't that a general practice when we know mosquitoes carry all kind of diseases? So it's a health and safety thing.
When the fountain didn't work, I threatened to call the EPA. I was like, I'm
I know
being
that's
eaten
right.
alive.
Right, right. Or like have those like mosquito pellets. We put them in our pond where you put those
Yes.
mosquito pellets in. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like it's a health issue. So,
Yes.
you know, folks,
Yeah.
again, builders, there's where's the regulation on new construction? Like
Well,
we want to regulate so much on realtors and on lenders, but like what
thank
about
you.
those guys? What about those guys?
Well, and then you have builders with their own mortgage companies that are now being sued, like the one in Florida right
Wow.
now, because they were basically not disclosing taxes and insurance accurately so they could win the deal. And then these people got the surprise of their life because they lowballed the taxes and insurance. And some people had their payments go up as high as $1,000 a month, higher than what they had
Insane.
just months before.
Insane.
And
Insane.
that is shady. I mean, that's why I
It's
tell people when they
very
come
much
to me with
so.
an estimate, and I'm like, who in the world is quoting property taxes in Georgia on a $400,000 home at 1,200 a year?
Mm-mm.
No,
Mm-mm.
that's not going to happen.
No. I mean, if it's someone that, was its retirement age, right?
Well, yeah,
Maybe.
but we can't use
Maybe.
that even,
You can't.
if they're not retirement age, I can't carry over that senior exemption for them.
Exactly.
And that's why
Exactly.
I tell people with if you're tight on debt to income ratio, there's two things that I tell you to avoid. Don't go and buy a senior citizens home because I have to use the non-exempt tax estimate.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
don't go buy new construction because I have to use the non-exempt tax estimate on the
Right.
whole price.
Right.
Um, so that's one of the tips. You're better off buying a resale than you are buying new construction, not only because of the shoddy construction we've been talking
Yeah.
about,
Right.
but
Right.
also because the property taxes immediately are based on the price, not the
Not the
assessment.
actual. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And that valid because so when it comes to circling back around when it comes to like those 55 and older communities, do you get a lot of clients? Because I know with a lot of well, at least in Georgia, I'm not sure if this is a statewide thing, but they have to put aside at least 20% of homes where they have to offer it to people that are not 55 and under. Yeah.
No,
Yeah, I learned it in it was a senior real estate class that I had took. And we were talking about how, a lot of people, when they see 55 and older communities, they think, oh, I'm not 55, I can't buy in it. But in actuality, the builder has to put a certain percentage aside.
did not know that. I
Mm-hmm.
thought that they had to be over.
Mm-hmm. When they're first built, they have to put a certain percentage aside for someone that's not 55, that's under it, right? So here's the caveat to that though. What we were talking about the other day, what do you think that builder does? They buy it
Yeah.
or they
And
have
then
someone else buy it,
and then
right?
they have two investors buy the other two that they finish, and then they get appraisals, and then those appraisals are working to build up the
So
value.
now the person that comes in that's under 55, it's like, oh, you have to offer it to me because you have to put a certain percentage aside. It's like, oh no, we sold those already.
Oh,
So it's like again, they're not being regulated. Like
yeah.
there's certain laws and rules and stuff put in play, but they know how to go
Circumvent.
around it and kind of, shake it up for the public. And it kind of messes up a lot of things. And not only does it mess up, you know, the numbers in that area, because you got these new constructions popping up next to resale homes that can't compete with those new constructions at price wise,
Yep.
right? But even though the resale home probably has more land, probably is even bigger,
Yep.
of course, quality built is there, right? But
Yes.
they can't compete because you're selling these homes at 700,000 or $1 million. Well, my home is only worth 300, 400. I'd love to
Yeah.
be able to get 700,000 for it. I think I deserve it more than you,
Right.
but
Exactly. Well,
but
and well, then there are some lenders that are, put restrictions on those 55 and over, because if someone in that 55 and over forecloses and we're holding the mortgage, we now are limited on who we can sell that house to.
right, right, because of the age. Yeah,
Hmm. Age
that's
restrictions.
that's something. That's something.
Well,
I
and
I know the community next to us. They opened in 2017, 2018, and they were selling those homes between 450, 500. Those homes are now selling for over 700,000.
mm,
Wasn't even 10 years ago.
wow.
And I'm like, what person 55 and older can
Hello.
afford to buy? Because that's all it is. It's strictly a 55 and older. And I'm like, who is buying this home that's in their retirement age for $800,000, $900,000? It's insane. But
Importantly,
that's
why are
what
they
we are.
building two-story 55
Right.
and over homes?
Why?
Why?
Yeah.
If you're not going to put an elevator in it, just stop.
Just
I
stop.
mean,
Yeah.
I understand it's the land. You have to go up because you need to build more postage stamps
Right.
and
Right.
maximize your land space. But come on,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
55 and over crowd does not want stairs. They just
Right.
don't.
Right. Right. They'll be
And
like, oh,
and like you
primary
said,
bedroom's on the main, but I never see upstairs.
yes, yes. I mean, hopefully your bedroom is on the main, because otherwise, I
Exactly.
mean, you'll never see the
You
upstairs.
never see it.
I
Yeah.
don't ever see my upstairs, and we're just two people living in this house. I mean, we never see upstairs. So,
Just move somebody in randomly, like, oh,
oh, I
hey.
wouldn't even know. I mean, other than them coming in and having food, I really wouldn't know if somebody was
Right.
living up there.
That's
Uh,
insane.
well, and some of the things that have opened up in financing that I think a lot of buyers just do not know about and don't know how to take advantage of is there are ways that you can qualify for a house and not have all the income you need. And that
Mhm.
comes down to, which we don't have a ton of them here, but
Right.
multi units. You can
Yes.
buy a three
Wow.
unit
Yeah.
with 5% down on a conventional now. As
Right.
long as you're buying one to live in, you
Yes.
can buy. It used to be you had to put 25% down.
Hmm.
Another thing that you can now do is you can buy a house with an accessory dwelling unit.
Yeah. The
And
ADUs. Yeah.
even if it's not being rented at the time, we can get an appraisal and say how much would this ADU rent for,
Right.
and
Right.
use that to offset some of the mortgage payment.
Yes. It's a
Yes.
brilliant thing. I'm glad that Georgia is starting to jump on board because I know California and Florida have already led the way on that.
Illinois.
Yeah, yep,
That's,
yep. And
yeah.
and I'm just hoping to see, you know, Georgia really embrace it because I mean, we have multi-generational livings here. We have people that are re-retiring that originally retired in Florida that are now like, oh, I got to go to Georgia because I can't afford Florida anymore. Got to move back with the kids, the grandkids, and
They
you have
want to.
right, they want to, and we have the space, especially like in Cherokee County, where a lot of the homes, are sitting on half acres, right?
Yes.
The homes from the 70s and 80s, most of them are sitting on half acre lots. plenty of space to put a granny pad, you
Yes.
know,
Yes.
and have your parents, or like you said, to your point, have a income producing property.
Hmm.
Why not? So I really
I
hope. I know
think,
last time I did research on that, it was like 11 counties in Georgia that were really embracing the ADU,
mhm.
movement, right?
Well,
Um,
there's two things that changed during COVID is they started being more accepting of ADUs, but less accepting of Airbnbs.
that part, yeah, yeah, yeah. And I can understand why.
Me
Like
too.
I get where some high roller can really abuse that and
Mhm.
take away homes from people that are looking for homes, especially we're in such a crisis, shortage of homes right now, where if you allow these big investors with big pockets to buy up half of Atlanta, which what was
Mhm.
it, Blackstone,
BlackRock. Yeah.
BlackRock. Yeah. They own about
10% or
50,000
15.
homes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they own about 50,000 homes throughout Atlanta and Atlanta Metro. That's insane.
Yeah.
That's insane.
It
But
is.
that was accumulated over the last few years. It wasn't like something that they just did in the last 10 years. That was in the last few years they accumulated that many homes.
Yep. And
So,
they're all first time home buyer homes. They're
right.
wanting to buy those homes and rent them out. And what's
Yep.
worse is you have builders that are literally building to rent.
I know what yep, exactly.
Invitation.
That drives me nuts.
Yeah.
Because they're cutting corners.
Oh yeah.
Because there's no inspections happening, just the
Yeah.
county inspections, right? Just the standard
Yeah.
permit county stuff. But like, that there's no one inspected that slab of cement. No one inspected how the pipes are running. No, none of that. None of
Well,
that
and
was
when they have problems later, it's the builder who's managing the properties, and you're
right.
dealing with some large, invitation
Corporation.
homes. They
Yeah,
were
yeah,
sued
big one.
because they
Yeah.
were holding on to fees and like not fixing things in homes,
Yes.
yet making them
Yes.
pay full rent. I mean,
Yes.
these are predatory people, and we're just
Exactly.
allowing that to happen while we regulate NAR and realtors and lenders
Exactly.
and
Exactly.
compensation. It's
But
crazy.
no one's regulating that. No one's
Exactly.
regulating that. It's like the where's my cheese? Like people they just keep moving the situation, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, the problem's right there. We've been telling you where the problem is. It's literally right there. If
Yeah.
you just listen to your realtors and lenders,
Yeah.
we can help you solve a lot of this stuff that's going on right now with the shortage of homes and giving people the option of creative lending, like
Mhm.
let us help you solve this issue. But no, no, no.
Exactly. Yeah. And the builders, what gets me the worst about the builders is that they are dangling incentives and low
Mm,
rates, that they're
yep.
doing a buy down, but
Again,
they're
predatory, like
also
you said. Yeah.
including it in the price.
Back in. Oh yeah, it's back because they're not regulated.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, it's smoky mirrors, or it's just like this illusion, you know what I
Facade.
mean? Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
this whole illusion, like I bought my home at 3.9. No,
Yeah.
sweetie, you didn't. You
No,
over
yeah.
you overpaid for that home because a 2x4 costs $20 instead of $3,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
right there, you already overpaid for the home because they had to pay a certain amount of dollars for all these supplies here, and now we have to raise the price way more,
Yeah.
because of that. And oh yeah,
Shortage.
you get
Yeah.
screwed.
It's the
So
supply
that two
chain. And
by
I,
four that 2x4 comes back down to $3 4. What do you have?
what
What
do
do
you
you
have? Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, luckily, when the values are, going down, or when you are oversold, or the cost to rebuild is lower.
Yeah,
The good thing is your insurance goes down if you stay on it, because then
yeah.
your cost to rebuild is lower. The price of land goes
Have
up. Your
more people
land's not
setting their
going
houses on
anywhere.
fire now.
Yeah. I mean, and your land's not going anywhere unless you have
Land usually stays or goes up, right? So
yeah,
that's a blessing. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, but but the
The
where they're
builders
building
need to
these
be
homes
regulated, and the
on such
builder,
tight
yeah,
lots. Yeah,
yes. Oh, like 0.16 acres with a
yeah,
1473 square foot home,
right.
like a little postage stamp.
Yeah,
In Texas and some other places, they're building literally like 800, like tiny homes with
yes,
their own driveways in a huge neighborhood of 1,000 of these little bitty
right,
homes, and they're
right.
running for like 300,000. Just like,
Yeah, it's insane, and that's been a big thing, especially here in Cherokee County, where when you go to some of these meetings where people are trying to get those
Zoning.
the zoning change where to
Yes.
build and all of that.
Yep.
We go to these meetings and it's like, okay, so you're going to build these homes. Most of the homes in our community are zoned R20, right?
Yep.
We're all like one house per half acre, right?
Yes.
You're going to now build a home, four homes on a half acre or something crazy. It's like that doesn't even match the aesthetic of what we already have going, what we've been going, what's been working for us.
And the
And
builders say, well, we can't afford to build what you have anymore.
exactly lies,
Yeah.
such lies. It's such lies.
I
What are
mean,
we?
they're definitely profiting. And I just saw a video of a contractor, and apparently he went there and destroyed everything that he built on this home. And the video was a kind of a pun, and it's like maybe he found out how much the builder's making versus how much he made. Um, but
Oh,
apparently, somebody didn't pay him, and he went and said, "Well, you're not getting my work,"
taking out
and
all
he
this work.
destroyed the house. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Yeah.
Wow.
That's a little far for me, but
That's a little, but I can see where contractors are getting pissed too because I've heard horror stories of people hiring somebody to do the work and then they refuse to pay them.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's
Well,
I
and
can
the
see
last thing you want to do is have a builder loan close and then have a mechanic's lien
clean
be added later.
exactly, exactly. Like you're not going to be able to sell that home without that.
Hmm. And you're
Yeah,
going to fight with that contractor to get it removed. And I don't even know if the title company would close. I mean, then again, they're giving you title insurance, so it maybe would cover it, but who
true.
knows?
It's
Who
true.
knows?
Goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and the whole thing about ARMs coming out now, adjustable rate mortgages are
Mm-hmm.
coming back.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's the
Those are
answer.
scary.
Yeah.
Those are scary. Those have never gone over well.
No.
You know,
And
like
I lived through the crash. I was a loan originator back in the crash. And
wow.
um, I always told people, listen, we're putting you in this adjustable rate mortgage because it is a subsidized rate lower than what you would get. But you need to work on your credit. No more
Yeah,
bankruptcies.
right.
I call them back 2 years later, they filed another bankruptcy. I mean, you can only lead a horse to water. You can't
Yeah,
make him
thanks for
drink.
some drink. Yeah, that's
But
right.
I
That's
don't want to
right.
get back into that because a 5 year arm, people don't realize 5 years is
It goes
before you
by
know
so
it.
fast. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
Yeah.
with all the uncertainty, I don't know where the rates are going to be in 5 years. So, do you really want to risk taking a half a point lower in rate or maybe a point lower right
Right,
now and then have
right,
to deal with it again in 5 years?
right.
It's just stupid to me.
It's not worth it.
Mm-mm.
Not
I
worth
mean,
it.
I honestly, truly believe that with professionals, real estate, and mortgage, I mean, if we could get our sounding board up to the people that could actually impact these things, lower the loan level price adjustments, because
Mhm.
if somebody's buying with a 680 credit score and there's a 3 point hit, that's driving the rate up.
Yeah.
And if we can lower those for everybody to get some relief, I think that would help housing too, because it would lower the rates.
Mm-hmm.
um,
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of things that I think can be done, but I think that lower rates is what everybody wants, but I think
But it's
that's a
not the answer.
recipe for
Yeah.
disaster.
Because that's what happened in 21 and 22. Everyone was jumping on that 3 and 4% rate
Yeah,
and it bottlenecked, the housing industry where then everybody was just settling.
yeah,
Oh, I'm gonna buy this new construction. It's gonna be great. Or I'm gonna pay, $50,000 over asking price for that house. Hey, grandma, can I tap into your retirement so I can win this bid? And it's
yeah.
like
And
people
waiving
left and
inspections,
right. Right. And
waive.
wait, oh my gosh, that was driving me crazy. Like I was like, we're still gonna get it inspected because we still have to know. I need you to still have a
Peace
no.
of mind. Yeah. I
Like
mean, I had actual buyers that were like, you know what? I don't have time for it. I'm just not going to do an inspection. I'm like, you are crazy. I mean, and
yeah,
you're paying 25 over asking, and you don't know if there's foundation issues. Sure, it looks
right.
like a sound house, but you never know. And I mean, I pray that those people do not call me and start bitching at me about the fact that they never got an inspection, because I'm going to have to remind them that that's what you wanted to do.
Exactly.
And now they're trying to come down on realtors that were, I saw some headline. I didn't have time to read the article, but some company is basically, or maybe it's a lawsuit, that some people were suing agents because they were told to waive inspections. And I'm like, I mean, I know that there were some realtors that said if
Yeah.
you want this offer to go through, they don't want you to have an inspection period, but they
Mhm.
still recommended an inspection
Yes.
like you did.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
like, if we're
Yeah.
not going to get the inspection period, at least let's inspect it anyway.
Still got to get inspected. You're just not having the
The
inspections as
ability.
a negotiable,
Exactly.
tactic, right? It's not
Right.
being used as a negotiating tool on the table. It's just, hey, I need you to have this FYI. We're still
Yeah.
going to have a due diligence period because I need you to have this FYI, and I don't like losing earnest money. Like that's
Exactly.
just number one thing for me is like, no, I want that earnest money to go back to where it's supposed to go,
Sure.
whether to
Yeah.
your closing or to your pocket if it doesn't work out, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, right?
Exactly.
That's a scary thing. I'm really hoping we're not going there. I'm really amazed at how many homes actually appraised during that time. Like I'm really surprised that we're not circling back around to the appraisers. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
Because
and the builders and it was
yeah,
like,
like
it's a domino.
yeah, it's like that you don't hear much about like the appraisers coming up under attack or the builders coming under attack, but you hear all the qualms against realtors and lenders, but you don't hear this side of the coin. It was like, why was a home that was, sold for $50,000 over asking? How in the world did that appraise?
And how was it even a comp? Because at that point, it's almost like an appraiser who
Yeah,
does not use a foreclosure or an estate
yeah,
sale because
yeah,
it's under duress. It's
yes,
not a normal sale. So
right,
why even include it? And if
right,
they would have excluded those that were clearly a bidding war,
right.
then we might have been able to keep the values more in check. And I mean, I'll be the first to say these houses, are not, the house I live in is not worth what they tell me it's worth. I
Yeah,
mean,
oh
I'd
yeah,
love to be able to sell it for what they say that I could sell it for.
right, right.
But I'm being assessed based on the sales that
Yep,
have occurred a
yep.
year
And
ago.
that's the county appraisers. Like they're not
Yeah,
even there. I have one of my clients because I did some comps for her, because the yearly taxes come out and it's like, hey guys, if
want
you
to
need me
fight
to
it.
write the comps for you, you need to fight that. Like I need you to write that rebuttal. I'll
Yeah,
help you type it up because you
yeah.
need to fight that. And I had a client that, they purchased their home about 10 years ago for, 350s, right? Now the community is selling anywhere between five, six, seven, and eight, right? They tried to appraise her home because the house across the street sold for, I want to say 800,000. They tried to say her home was worth that amount. Well, that home across the street that sold had custom Italian floors flown in, marble,
Wow.
custom Italian chandelier flown in, crystal. Right. It had like, I mean, you might as well say it had gold leaves
Yeah.
around, archways or something.
Hers is lived in.
Hers is just lived in. No, like, yeah, she got hardwood floors, and some granite counters, but she didn't have that. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And they also had the lake access too. So their house kind of backed up to the lake in the community, right? And the appraisers, like the county appraisers, was like, whatever, it's the same size, same year, right? And it's like,
Mm.
no. And I had to write out the whole thing as to why this house is nowhere near in comparison to that. Thank God she was able to get it under 600, right? I
Wow.
think she was able
Yeah.
to get it around like the 550 mark. But still, they were trying to get her for $800,000
How
that
many of
home.
how
No way
many
to sell it for that.
Georgians don't fight it?
Don't fight it. They just take it. That
Yes.
part. And
That's the sad thing.
that is very much the sad thing because they don't feel like they have a dog in the fight, right? This is where you go back to your realtor that sold you that home and say, "Hey,
Yes.
can you help me? Because the county is trying to get me on
Yeah.
these taxes, especially the last few years." But again, appraisers aren't regulated; they could just do what they want, you know.
Yeah. And I mean, I found out that Cherokee County was using a third party service for
Wow.
years to
Right.
do assessments. And these companies were not even from the state.
Right.
So,
How about
that
that?
bothered
You're
me.
familiar. You're familiar with the location, but you can be
Right.
an appraiser.
Yeah.
That again, something not regulated, right? Because we,
Right.
we talked about that before, where you always look at, oh, where's that appraiser from? Stockbridge, Georgia. Why are you appraising something up in
In
Woodstock?
Ackworth. Right.
Why are you doing that? Like that again, there should be some kind of regulation. Like in order for you to be an appraiser for this area, you should have lived in that area. You should be familiar with that area. You can't just be someone that just randomly comes up from Florida and say, "Oh, I'm gonna go appraise Atlanta. I'm gonna go
Right?
do." No, like, you need to be familiar with this stuff. Another thing that irritates me with appraisers, a lot of them don't even go in homes. You know,
Oh,
most
the county?
no,
Oh,
period. A lot of appraisers do not go inside homes. I cannot tell you how many listings I've had that have sold and appraisers don't even go inside the home.
I don't know how they do that because we got to get photos and
No.
yeah.
They use the photos from MLS.
From MLS? Oh, that's wrong. They're not supposed to do that. And they're supposed to measure literally. And it says in the report, I have measured and the county records are off by this.
That does not happen. That does not happen.
Wow.
And
Well,
that
I,
these are things that like hurt our market. These are things that
yes,
hurt us because
yes. I
you
know
have
during COVID, we did have basically the appraisers had an ability that if because of COVID, they did
right,
not have to go in. They could actually appraise it from the outside and use the MLS
right,
pictures and a certification saying that it is in the same condition because of health hazards. But now, if they're not going in now, that is just
yeah,
pure laziness and they should lose their
absolutely.
licenses unless it's an exterior only. I mean, I'm just
I'm not
thankful we're
sure.
getting waivers when we have big
Yeah,
down payments because I'd like to avoid the appraisal process altogether. I mean, let's just
right.
cut it out.
I mean, because
And
you have the realtors that are actually in the property, that are actually running the comps in the area, that are familiar with the areas. I really feel
well,
I really I've maybe realtors should become maybe it should be a requirement where realtors are also licensed appraisers as
I
well. You know what
agree.
I'm saying? Like
Do PPOs.
maybe that should be a part of it as opposed to creating this whole branch of like a business line where it's like, well, that technically should be under a realtor's
And I
expertise.
think that you are so onto something because I believe truly realtors, there are some realtors that are still not familiar with the fact that a split level home,
Hmm.
anything below those stairs
Below
is below
yeah,
grade,
grade,
and
yep.
that counts less for your
That's
square footage.
that's usually like half value. Yeah.
So you don't understand how many split levels we had that
Yeah.
came in below value, below the price,
Right.
even during COVID,
Right.
because my appraisers were coming back saying, where did they come up with this list
That number.
price?
Yeah.
Uh,
And that goes back to where realtors should have appraisal classes.
yes.
They should, or like when they try to say it's a 4 bedroom, 2 bath house, and you go look for that fourth bedroom, and you're like, where's that fourth bedroom at? Right? Oh, this is the fourth bedroom, the window this big,
No
closet in the
closet,
hallway, right?
no
Like,
ingress, egress.
no,
I
no,
mean,
none of
yeah.
that. None of that. It's like but that should be something that's regulated because if that house sells and the appraiser never went in to check to see
Yes.
if it was a legitimate fourth bedroom, who just got stuck with that?
I just had an appraisal that we got adjusted higher by $8,000 because he had the square footage wrong on a comp that was built the exact same. And yet it basically had brought our value down. And because we proved that the other house was the same square footage as ours, it brought our value up 8K. We ended up saving the deal. It was all about square
Right.
footage. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That should be a part of like general practice. I keep a
Mhm.
little like laser,
Yes. Measure.
measure. Yeah.
Yep. That's what appraisers should have.
Hands down. And
Yeah.
realtors, every realtor should have them too,
Yes.
because I don't
Yes.
want you come in my house and you're like, oh yeah, the records say it's 2,100 square feet, but you don't even see that add-on that was just done, and you're just gonna grab that. No, I need you to get out your little fancy tools,
Yeah.
and I need you to
Actual measure. You do your
exactly
job.
that
Do
part.
your job.
That part.
Yeah.
Oh man, if only
Uh,
we could solve all the
I
problems.
know. I think we could. Just you and me. We could just
Right.
talk it out.
It's the women energy, we need more women to step up and like,
I
hey guys,
agree.
you guys did well for a little bit. Let us women.
Yes. I mean,
Women.
honestly, they come up with the wrong, it's the flashy,
Yeah,
sparkly thing instead of the
yes.
lasting change that I believe can change the industry.
Completely agree. Completely
And
agree.
I am happy to see, though, final note, I'm happy to see that some of the realtors that jumped in at the time that are so lazy that,
Yes.
it's been tough on realtors, and I totally understand how some have had to go out and make money doing something else. But it is a completely different thing when I get a contract and the listing agent literally does nothing, does no
Yes,
forms, does no
right.
commission form. The buyer's agent is stuck doing everything,
Everything.
and
Every,
it's not
yes.
fair.
No.
I'm really tired of these half-ass
Yes.
realtors and lenders, and I
Yes.
really think they need to get out of the business and let us take over and let us just
Yeah.
take care of
Let,
everybody the
let the
way we do.
professionals let the
Yep,
professionals come in.
that's right.
Right. But you get so many people that come in this and they're, oh, I'm gonna make all this money selling real estate. No, no, no. There's a lot of fees you pay.
Yeah. A lot of driving, a lot
A
of
lot of
gas, a
driving, a
lot of
lot of,
weekend.
a lot of weekends and a lot of, clients that you think are hot and ready to go because they got that pre-approval, right? Like some of my clients got a pre-approval in the beginning of the year. They still haven't purchased yet.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And
Yes.
it's not no fault of their own that we did put a couple of contracts in our home on homes. Those sellers were not willing to budge. And then of
Mhm.
course, a couple of weeks would go by and they would call me and be like, "Hey, is your buyer still interested?" Absolutely not. No,
No,
they don't
you
trust
didn't
you
want to
now.
wheel and deal with us
You didn't
then.
right. You didn't want now you want to give us all the things we're asking for. No, like
Yeah.
and that's another issue where it's like you have some listing agents that were still kind of stuck in that 21, 22 market, especially at the beginning of the year. They were
Mhm.
stuck there still and they didn't want to budge on anything. And now those same agents are like, "Oh, I need to budge," And like I even have a seller, we have a house that's been on market a long time, since April.
Oh,
And I
the comps
finally
you
got
pulled in April are not the same comps
and
now.
now, and I finally got her to come down on the price because her mindset was still stuck in like, but 21 and 22, it's like it's not the same market.
Mhm.
Those prices were so inflated. You know what I mean? Like you can't
Yes.
rely on numbers for someone that was willing to pay 50 to $100,000 over asking price for a home that we know today was not worth it.
No.
So it's like you have to we have to shake 21 and 22 and just shake it all off because
Yep.
it's hurting us more than anything. It's hurting,
Yes.
even the buyer's potential,
I
of
just
because we put a couple of contracts in. They could have purchased and been in the house, but because you had a listing agent
you
that was
didn't want to.
it was
I'm not even sure if the listing agents are even going back to the sellers to even present the offer, to be honest.
I think there are some situations where they don't, which is completely illegal. You have to
Yeah.
present every single offer in a timely manner. That is literally what it says. It doesn't say you have to present it within 5 minutes, but it does say you have to present it in a timely manner. Present
Hmm.
all offers, and you
Yeah.
have to, whether it's the lowest of the low or a one where they're asking for a lot of closing costs and a price drop. I think pride, when they see a price drop, I think some listing agents when they see, oh my God, they want 20,000 under. I know I comped this right. It's like, no, bring your pride down, bring everything
Yeah.
down a little bit. It's
I'm
not
not
about
saying you
you.
can't do your
Let's
job.
say you can't do your job, but it's not about you. This house has been on market for 3 months. So
Right.
let's negotiate here, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a very interesting place we're in. And I think like to your point again, 26 market is gonna be an interesting one.
World Cup is coming to Atlanta.
Girl.
I think that's going to bring a lot of business.
Oh yeah, like the 96 Olympics and everything, how it brought
Uh-huh.
tons of business and
Yes.
stuff. I do agree with that. And I think that's another reason why they're doing a lot more regulation on the Airbnbs because
Uh-huh.
they have people that want to buy investment properties right now just to capitalize on that,
Oh yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
people are even going to rent out their homes
yeah.
for like $8,000 a week. I mean, it's like the Masters in Augusta.
Right. Well, we have the whole soccer US men's soccer team. They
Yeah.
built a stadium down in Fayetteville. So
Yes.
the whole and then we also have I don't know if you saw, but Arthur Blank what do they call him? Uncle Arthur just announced we're gonna have a women's soccer team, MLS team.
Wow.
So
Well, and then they're
that's
putting
coming.
a hockey team. I think it's ice
Finally
hockey
getting
in
hockey back.
Forsyth. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, the Gladiators. Is it the Gladiators?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think, and they were like a whatever the second string under the NHL.
Right.
Um, but yeah, they're supposedly going to be. They've been trying to get back into the NHL because we lost our team, which is something Heather was very disappointed at. We lost our team. I think it was the Thrashers,
Yes.
and they went to Calgary Canada.
Oh,
Yeah, the
I
team
didn't know
got sold
they.
to Calgary. Yeah, they got sold to Calgary, Canada.
I didn't
Yeah.
know. I thought they just
Cool.
decided to just kill
Mhm.
the sport here or whatever.
No, no, but it's coming back, which is I've always thought hockey in the South was interesting. So I'm like, you know,
Don't have a
let's
lot of ice out there,
not a
let
lot of
people
ice for
inside.
you to play, but everything is indoor. So
Yeah.
it's gonna be an interesting thing because those are all things that bring the economy back to, that area, bring jobs into that area. So it's a lot of great positives to it too.
Well, and it
Um,
also brings it to the suburbs, to Cherokee
yeah,
County,
Cherokee
to
County.
Pickens, and
Yeah,
even further.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
People love our state so much, they end up wanting to buy a home here, either a second home or
Yeah.
move here for good.
Yes.
Um, I
Which
definitely feel like we're going to have some people from New York wanting to buy here in Florida.
for sure. Well,
The cost of living.
that's what I'm noticing happening is like those people that originally, would be in New York, and New York has this thing where they all retire in Florida. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yes.
And now it's like, well, maybe not. Maybe we'll do the
Georgia,
Georgia, the South Carolina, the North
Tennessee.
Carolina, it's like the Tennessees, like, and of course, Alabama's getting there. I think what a lot of people don't realize about Alabama is, a lot of land, beautiful lakes there. The Wise Lake is just gorgeous, you know?
Good luck finding a hospital or
Yeah,
a good school.
that part. I think that's where it turns everyone off. It's like, now let's look at the schools. Huh. Okay. My sister lived there for a little bit in Huntsville, and yeah, I saw some of the product of what was happening firsthand to nieces and nephews getting educated there, and I was very much like, so you're not learning about dinosaurs? Like, just nothing? Like what?
Well, and like Birmingham, if you're in like a big metro, I guess because they tax higher, they tend to have the better schools. But when
Yeah,
you get into a very
outside of
rural area
Birmingham, yeah,
of,
Mobile, Huntsville,
yes,
those
Dothan,
Dothan. Oh my gosh, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that's where my dad was from. He said, I'm from LA, Lower Alabama.
Lower Alabama, yes, ma'am. That's one of the things I did love when I go down to PCB is it's a good vibe. It's a good vibe. Minus
PCB is, but not getting stuck in Dothan in that
well,
circle with a
yeah.
speeding ticket.
Yeah, no. No, because
That's
then
what they get everybody for.
wow.
Oh
So it's
yeah.
like Virginia when you're driving up to you're driving up northeast. They say Virginia you gotta be real careful of
Oh yeah.
because they get you like crazy.
Virginia is for lovers, but
Coming
they
down
will
those
pull your butt over.
pull your butt and give you a lover ticket.
That's right.
Love you,
I
mean
love
it.
you, but here you
Welcome.
go. Welcome
Welcome.
to Virginia.
Welcome to Virginia.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think Georgia, we still have plenty of room. I'm a nerd that likes to look at forestry maps. I don't know if you've ever done that.
Oh yeah.
So when I first moved, of course, to Georgia, I had no allergies, being from Illinois, right? And no allergies, none. I moved to Georgia and I'm just, covered in it, right, for the last 17 years. But one of the things I nerded out about was like, okay, what kind of tree coverage do we have here, percentage wise? Did you know you can look up like the US forestry map and it will tell
Yeah.
you what each state has as far as trees? So we're 49% covered in trees as a state. Illinois is only 11%.
Oh wow.
That's why I had allergies, right?
Yeah.
Huge jump. Now I'm not sure what it's going to look like in the next 10 years with all the new construction happening,
Yeah.
but I know that's one of the things that I just thought was so neat where it's like, oh, we can actually just see how much land each state has to offer. We have the space. We don't have to open up our national parks to build on. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
We don't
We
need to
have
do
the
that.
space. And what about,
Why aren't we
what
using
kills
it?
me? Why do we have all this commercial space that no one's going to use and we can't convert it to
Why?
condos?
Right.
Or
Right.
just, tear it down and build townhomes. I mean, because office space is not what it
Yeah.
was. COVID
Yeah.
proved that people could work from home and be efficient.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, it's the same thing they're talking about, like in Chicago specifically. So many of the schools were shut down. So there's a bunch of empty schools, big old beautiful red brick buildings sitting vacant.
why? Where did the kids
Why
go?
aren't they've dispersed them to other schools. They've overcapacitized,
Oh, gotcha.
overcapacity at over schools, other schools nearby. So, but they've closed these schools because of funding, right?
Mm,
Even though Cook County, aka Cook County, has some of the highest property taxes, you know,
yeah.
it's still they still didn't have enough to keep a lot of these public schools open. So they have these empty schools and they're doing nothing with them. Some, I think a couple of programs have opened up where they're like, okay, we'll do maybe a shelter, right? But it's a fine line because who are you offering the shelter to? Are you
Right.
offering it to people that are in the community, right? That
Yeah.
have already been there, that are trying to whatever, like what's happening there? And there's a lot of weird stuff around that. But again, to your point, it goes back to okay, you have all this construction site, we have housing issues. Why aren't we solving it? You
Yeah.
know, do we have to go look and see that commercial property was actually built on what, an Indian burial ground, or like you said, a trash ground? Like what is stopping us from using that empty, vacant, commercial
Building. Right.
something
And
else?
well, and that's, when the county closes like Free Home Elementary up the street from me,
Yes,
it's an
yes,
empty building. What are they going to use it for? Are they
right,
going to sell the land and let make the money for the county? Are they going to use it as a training center?
right. What's the plan?
Yeah.
What's the
And
plan?
that could be used for transitional housing, could be used for
Right.
meals for the community if they need it.
Yes,
Like
yes,
those are the things that I would like to see it be used for instead of just being shut down and,
yeah.
you
And
know,
vacant and
yeah,
left to just rot,
exactly. I mean,
Yeah,
exactly. We have a lot of resources, and I just feel like we don't use the resources we
we
have.
don't.
And
We
um,
don't.
yeah,
Especially to better serve our community. There's so much. I was recently, we do a lot of camping around Alatoona, and I'm not going to mention the specific campground, but I was told at that specific campground that what would happen sometimes is that the sheriff department would actually drop off homeless people at those campgrounds. They would pay for a night or two, and then that's it.
and then they're gonna roam around.
That's what's been happening. That's
Mm,
a very like it's a no-no. Like that's
that's
not
not
how
a
you help
place.
people.
No, you
And
take them
that's not
down to the Must Ministries or the shelter,
like
and you
right. That's not a place that you just drop people off at.
no.
And so there's a crisis happening, and this is in our county that this is happening. There's a
Hmm.
crisis, there's a homeless crisis happening, and they're secretly just kind of like pushing it over there.
Under
And
the
it's like,
rug.
no, we have an empty school. Let's do
Yeah,
something with that. Let's help some
exactly.
people.
Yes. And I don't know how many times I see, Butterfly Whisper or other
Yes,
nonprofit
yes,
organizations paying for a weekly hotel for someone who
yes,
is out on the streets. I mean, why? I'm all for it and I donate to them and
yeah.
want to help out, but why are
What's
we,
next?
yeah, and you know, those people being dropped off at a campground, how is that going to help them? I'd rather get them a weekly hotel for 150 for the week oh, I tell you what,
Yeah,
that's just insane. And I mean, when it comes to trees, that is one thing. Like when people come from other countries, when my
yeah.
father-in-law came here from Mexico, he was enamored. He was just in awe of the
Okay.
amount of trees that we have
Yes,
in the state.
yes.
And
Gorgeous.
one thing that I beg, I mean, please do not become Illinois, where we only have, or Chicago,
11%.
11%.
11% concrete jungle.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
won't have any allergies, but we
right,
won't have any vegetation and maybe low on
right.
O2 if we start adding a
Yeah,
bunch of people here. But
yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, there's got to be a delicate balance.
There
And
has
I
to
see
be.
so
Yeah,
many malls, so many office buildings that could be converted
right.
and just let people live there.
Yeah. And you could probably even use a lot of that property because one of the things they are doing in Chicago, especially like in like the South Side neighborhoods, because it's such a food desert, like we don't have a lot of grocery stores. And I know South Atlanta experiences this as well, especially Southwest Atlanta. There is a food desert for grocery stores, and a lot of people don't know that.
I didn't know that.
But one of the things that Chicago's doing is that a lot of the vacant lots, they're converting them to gardens, community gardens, right? To grow
Yeah.
food and stuff like that. Why can't that be done in some of these other places where it's like a vacant mall or vacant school? Where like,
Yes.
hey, because you can get above ground planter boxes. You don't have to necessarily go into the ground just in case that soil is contaminated because we don't know. But
Yeah.
it could be used, like we could bring in topsoil and build it up, and you could then use that for community gardens and community vegetations. And guess what? Maybe some of those homeless people, we can hire them to work those gardens. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And
And
now
they eat for free.
you're giving them a sense of purpose, you're giving them a place to live, and they get to eat for free.
Girl,
Boom.
I've got, all right, I'm gonna put my tin hat on real quick. I'm
Let's
gonna
go.
ask you
Let's
a
go.
question.
Come on.
Why don't we have fruit trees growing for people to have endless fruit whenever they want it?
Why? Why not?
I'm
Especially
guessing
here.
I'm
Especially
guessing
here.
because farmers have to make money, and so they don't allow fruit trees to grow in public places because
It
they need to
totally
make the
should.
money.
It totally should.
Um, but I
Like
was
when they
told
like
that it was a
downtown Woodstock when they built out why put I love ginkgo gabobo trees. They're pretty. They're those
yeah,
little yellow leaves.
ginkgo below. Yeah,
Yeah, they're great. They're pretty. That's what they put up everywhere. But I completely agree. I
I mean,
think,
put a pear tree, put an
oh my
apple
God.
tree, and let it just fruit and give apples and pears for the whole community. Why
Yeah.
are we taking down the trees? I was told it was a cleanliness thing because you don't want a bunch of
Rotten.
rotten fruit on the streets, and that's why they did it. And I don't know. I've not pulled out any history books that told me for sure, but I think it's a
Right.
money making racket.
I I absolutely. I completely agree. I think if I can go to the mall and grab a pear off a tree on my way into Target,
Yeah,
I'm down.
yeah.
Like,
I mean,
totally.
we could literally feed the world just by allowing fruit trees to grow naturally and
Yes.
just pick your fruit. I mean, you're on the side of the road, you see some blackberries, pull over, grab your blackberries and go home and wash them
Yeah.
and eat them. I mean,
Yeah.
like it should not be this hard.
No.
Really
No.
should.
I agree. I love that idea. I think that's a great idea. I think instead of and going even back to like builders when they have to demolish a whole land to build something, I think that they should be required to plant 100 trees somewhere else. You know what I
Or
mean?
and they
Like,
do or when they require that you have one tree in your yard at all times and then the builder goes in and puts a stupid Bradford pear in there
talk
and the
about it.
thing
Stinkiest
goes
tree ever.
through plumbing,
Right.
it
Right.
grows roots longer than a yard will be,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I'm forced
Good
to
for your
pay
foundation.
$1,000 to remove it later because it's cracking the plumbing pipes.
It's not the best tree of choice.
Why
No.
would you put that? Why? And they
Yeah.
stink to high heavens. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
makes you
It's
want to
like, where's
vomit. It
the
smells like
pretty way
fish.
over there? Way over there is so
Yeah.
pretty. All the white flowers.
And
Yeah.
then you get up to it and it's like, oh,
Yeah. Why is it called anything pear?
yeah, it does not smell like a pear. I can tell you that
Nothing.
much.
Yeah. No, it's very much as a smelly tree. No, I completely agree. I think that there's a lot of things that we could be doing, you know, as the human race to really support our
Agree.
community a lot better. You know,
Yes,
I think
I
community
agree.
gardens, these vacant schools and vacant commercial areas, like where's the, let's talk to the commissioner. We got questions.
Yeah, I mean, and I've talked to Ken Luther just the other
Yeah.
day about retrofitting like a mall or office
Yeah.
buildings to condos. And it goes down to not only zoning, but it's also the ingress egress because office buildings were only built with certain entrances and that doesn't fit of what a residence has to
Residential.
have.
Hmm.
And that was actually, I was like, And so he brought up a good point. His office used to be over at Barrett Lakes, close
Okay.
to where the Costco is off Barrett Parkway.
Yeah.
And for 20 years, they had those buildings over there, and it was beautiful. There was a walking trail behind his building, and you could see with the glass wall, like it's nature. Well, a Canadian company bought those buildings and then basically foreclosed. And in order to sell the properties, they really need it to be vacant because a partially used building
Yeah.
doesn't help anybody.
Right.
So what they did was they offered to move them over to the one he's at now, which is right off Chastain Lakes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And everybody who was over in his same building is now in this building, but now they have a completely empty building that they are now going to tear down and build apartments. So that area where is you
Wow.
like on that side road that goes to
Yeah.
41 from Barrett Lakes, that's going to be apartments
Interesting.
eventually. But it
Wow.
all came down to they could not retrograde the
They
office
couldn't.
because of how the parking lot.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's
Interesting.
better to tear it down.
Better to tear it down. My gosh.
This doesn't, I mean, I don't know. Things should be easier than this, but we'll live another day and we'll try to solve the world's
Right,
problems.
right, right. No, this was good talk, Lindsay.
Yes,
I
I
always
loved
I
it.
always enjoy having brainiac moments back and forth with you. It's good
And you
stuff.
know what? After I hit stop, I'm going to basically hang on. I'm actually going to hit stop now. Let me stop recording.